Before I entered the restaurant, I said out loud, I literally had my hand hovering over the handle of the door, and I said, "Okay, here we go."
Were they comfortable with me like interviewing them like as I'm sitting there? Like do I put my mask on, or do I like as I'm talking to them, even as I'm eating?
So my name is Corey Meyer, and I did the chapter with Vanessa Morales about Little India and Artesia.
Oh, my name is Rachel, and I worked on two chapters. Chapter 2, which is the landscape of flavors in the U.S., and then also Chapter 10, which talks about kind of comfort food in Thai culture.
I think what's so wild about it all with our chapter is like we went to Little India, and I think we were like expecting it to be like dead and like silent, and we went on a Sunday and it was so busy. We were like, wow, I mean, I guess that's good, but also like this is a lot of people. And I think for Vanessa particularly, she hadn't really like been out, and so yeah, it was like a culture shock because it feels like kind of like Little India, but then on top of that, just like shock of like COVID.
So my chapter is chapter 9, which is called Enduring Empty Tables in a Pandemic. And I say because I had a partner named Angela Hom and she was incredible. We looked into how COVID-19 affected Chinese restaurants, both economically and personally. We decided, okay, we're going to wear a double mask, we're going to social distance. We were constantly like wiping off our hands. It was definitely like it was a stumbling block, but it wasn't something that we were going to let our chapter be affected by.
Probably one of the main obstacles was finding restaurants that had like that were either open, because a lot of them were closed. You walk in, they take your temperature. They even like sometimes write your contact like info down. Like had a screen when I'm ordering. You just take it and you leave. And so there was like no opportunity to talk to the person. So what I ended up having to do is just like I texted her the question. They then like wrote in their notes app and then like shared their notes app with me, which is like not ideal by any measure. But it worked for the time that we're in.
Is that how you would describe this whole semester? Just not ideal, but it worked?
Yes, yeah, I would. I think that's exactly how I would describe it. It's pretty accurate to say it that way.
So we use FaceTime all the time to talk, and we didn't know each other before this class, so we got to know each other through FaceTime, work together through FaceTime, and I think the way we approached our chapter was a little bit more individualistic because of COVID. Like, I was in charge of the photo essay, she was in charge of the writing portion, because I think we realized like collaborating while not being in person was just going to be more difficult.
Like we weren't even able to like sit down together and kind of like look at our two laptops or something and then like write together or brainstorm. It was like strictly over Zoom that we were doing this. And I think like that was definitely a challenge, but I think it also helped me to, yeah, just like develop my writing skills in a way that like matched her style, for example.
The 2 times that Angela and I went to a restaurant was the only times that we saw each other in person too. So it was like, okay, we texted a lot, we called a lot, but that was it. So it just felt interesting to have a partner, but not be next to her in the production center. There were a lot of things that just felt unusual, but in the end, it worked out well for us. And yeah, thank goodness for Google Docs and phones.
In the past like couple of weeks, I have gone to a few of the restaurants that I went to during as I was like writing the chapter, and then I've also like brought people to those restaurants. So I think like even just now, like almost like practicing what I had written about how like this food is supposed to be communal. It's like you talk over food, you share food, and just being able to do that kind of even just like helped me like see that despite the obstacles, these chapters were really cool to work on.